So my name is Mario with GeekvsFan. I have three questions, one for each. First for Dr. Grant. The question I had is, as a linguist fluent in multiple Polynesian languages, how do you ensure the dialogue, chants, or names in Moana 2 are both authentic and accessible to a global audience of children?
Great question. Yeah, so there are a few factors that go into trying to consider what names might be good for both characters and places. The three kind of main underlying factors that go into it is one is kind of drawing on the shared ancestry of Oceania, looking at words that we all have in common that would be recognizable, whether you're Samoan or Hawaiian or wherever part of Polynesia or even in the Pacific that you come from, that you'd be able to see yourself in that name. The second is that it's a name that's appropriate to that character, whatever the personality of that character, the role of that character in the film is. And then the third is that it's kind of pronounceable or pronounceable for English speakers or a wider audience, even for those outside of the Pacific as well. And so kind of brainstorming on researching on what those words would be, drawing on linguistic knowledge of what sounds are available in English, for example, that would lend itself for pronunciation from Polynesian languages. And then also just really understanding the characters and what words might lend themselves to that particular role that they play in the story.
It's a great answer. And then now my question number two for Tiana, I believe. First off, I love the name because that's my favorite Disney princess. But you're also working on the live action Moana. Is
Yes.
there a difference between choreographing for animators versus live actors?
Yes. I've been existing in the Moana world since 2015 or 16 with the animated, and I've learned a lot. And it's been an amazing experience. But I also feel, for lack of a better word, I can flex a lot more with the human body on the
Yeah.
Polynesian form. So I've, yes, finally gotten the chance to create on such a platform with not only humans, but with a hand-picked, selected cast of community members that are versed in all different Polynesian shapes and movements. So I have been waiting for this for a very long time, and I feel like this is my comfort zone because I do own a dance school. So
Okay, cool.
that was really exciting for me, and I can't wait for that world to be seen as well.
Okay, perfect. And for Doctor, I hope I don't mispronunciate this. Doctor Dione
Yeah,
or Dion. Okay, perfect. Disney approached you first for consulting on Moana. What was the initial reaction? How did you navigate to ensure the cultural authenticity? So that way it wasn't like a parody of the culture, I guess you would say. It was something that's deep rooted in what Moana and what this, what the background stands for.
yeah. I mean, I think for me, what I tried to do as much as possible was working with the trust, making sure that we brought in the right people that were able to contribute to the story and the different elements of culture that are discussed, that are in both films. I think the difference between one and two would be now we get to go in a little bit deeper into different cultural elements, whereas in the first one it was just an introduction to Motunui and introduction to Moana and Maui. And now we get to, I think, play a little bit more with kind of specific elements from real cultures and that are existing today. So I think the authenticity element of it is it's a really difficult thing, but I think Disney's be authentic in their attempts to tell this story mean that we have to be authentic in our contributions to helping tell the story. And
Yes.
I think bringing in the people that I think need to bring in, I've never at all felt like I got this. I can tell. I can contribute on. I know everything. I don't. And they're because it's such a diverse place. That we come from. We're a third of the world, of the planet, and so many cultures and languages, and so you have to bring in the people that represent those places. And I think that's why the trust exists, and that's why we're meant to be there. So I think in terms of us trying to deliver on that, then I think that's the authentic part for me. And then of course helping Disney try to tell this story in the way that we think is is the most representative and the one that we think our people will enjoy the most. I think was also a big part of it.
You're right. And so real quickly, we're running a little bit out of time. So I just have one more question for each of you guys. It's the same question. So we'll start with Dr. Grant, then Tiana, and so forth. And so the question I have is, who is your favorite character in the Moana series? So take it away, Dr. Grant.
I would say my favorite character from Moana 2 is Loto, just because she's a scientist, very like engineer, and kind of like speaks to my analytical side of my brain. So I like that.
Fantastic. Tiana?
Was not ready for that. I would have to honestly, this might be very biased though. I would have to say Moni. He's just a different element, a different flavor. I think the kids are gonna love him. And also the voice of Moni, I'm really good friends with as well, so I'm very proud of him. Kualalai.
Perfect.
I was gonna say Lotso, but then Grant took Lotso. But I would actually say I think Moana, because Moana is now grown. You know, she's a grown-up person. She's making adult decisions. I really loved the way that she developed as a person, as an adult, as somebody who's taking on more responsibility for her family and for her village. We had a couple of conversations where we were talking about this sort of like status of someone like Moana, and this is a chiefly well-born woman in our cultures. And you know, very much reminiscent of the powerful, amazing women who lead us today. And so, yeah, I think Moana for that reason for me.
All right, that's perfect. So, of course, go watch Moana 2 in theaters. This is Mario with GeekvsFan, and it's been a pleasure talking to all of you guys.
Thank you, Mario.
Thank you, Mario.
Bye.